Well, and again, the Detroit Leaf defense is banged up.
Man.
You see there's 3 members of the defense out tonight. Taylor Decker also out with a knee injury. The Packers have some injuries as well. No Romeo Doubs, no Jair Alexander. But for me, and look, I'm not trying to be a jerk here, but this is something we haven't talked about yet. When I saw on Sunday, and I wonder if they deliberately did this on Sunday so it wouldn't create much news and attract much attention.
Right.
They added Jamal Adams to the practice squad.
Yeah.
Like, Jamal Adams has been a headache for the Jets. He's been a headache for the Seahawks. He didn't last very long with the Tennessee Titans this year. It just seems to me like they're really rolling the dice that they can speak to the better angels of Jamal Adams. And I know from talking to people over the years, it's not that he's a bad guy. He's just malcontent at times.
Yeah.
And just hard to get through to.
Right.
And wasn't happy with the Jets. And Seattle gave him a fresh start and gave him a big contract. And remember last year there was stuff where he was like getting into it with a reporter and he like made fun of the reporter's wife's appearance on
Jets,
social media,
right?
and then was defiant about it. Like it doesn't seem to fit with what the Lions are trying to do. That's my point.
I hear you.
It seems like they're taking a risk here. And maybe they're so desperate for competent, warm bodies that they're looking the other way on what it is they're trying to build, and they're willing to run the risk of somebody who maybe doesn't fit what they're trying to do. That was alarming to me.
I hear
that
you.
The Lions did that.
They're going to trust their culture.
He doesn't seem to mesh.
They're going to trust their culture to fix him rather than they think he's going to come in and mess up their culture. That's what they're betting on, and I would bet that bet is right. I hear what you're saying. It's a little risky, but I think your warm bodies comment is really, I think, the fact of the matter. Right, where there's not only so many players out there on the street, let alone the ones that are out there. Can you really, if they had to play, can you trust them and feel like they could play and do something and function at a level that you expect to? That's where it gets tough this time of the year. There's limited options. So you might go, hey, this guy, he's a better guy. He fits us, but this guy, not a great guy, but like, okay, wait, he's a better player. And if we got to play, we can trust him. So that's what they went with. And, yeah, I hear the risk there. But they got issues, and that's what's going to be big about tonight. There's going to be pressure on the the Detroit offense, I think, right, to an extent that they haven't felt maybe. Because, man, those D linemen, they're missing, and, of course, they're already missing Aiden Hutchinson and other guys as well, where you're talking about the Green Bay offense, the Green Bay run game. You've heard me talk about it a lot on Football Night in America. I'd put it up there with anybody in football. When it's purely give the ball to the running back run game, you take quarterback design run out of it. These are two of the best teams in football, in my opinion, and bringing that to the table. I know Lamar and the Ravens and Philadelphia are really good running teams too, but the quarterback run has a lot to do with that and scrambling. These guys we will impose our will and go downhill on you the old traditional, old-fashioned way. And that's what you got to be worried about with Detroit tonight. With all those bodies you just talked about, Mike, and now you got Josh Jacobs coming down who's shown he is, missed a few games, but offensive player of the year type quality play. That's scary for the Detroit D tonight.
One last thing on Jamal Adams.
Yeah.
He is a great player.
Yeah.
He has a great pedigree.
Right.
He was a two-time second-team All-Pro, a first-team All-Pro in 2019, three-time Pro Bowler. Things kind of fell off because of injury. He plays with a level of reckless abandon.
Exactly right.
And that's a compliment.
Yeah.
He plays with a level of reckless abandon that gets him injured. He's out there with no regard for his health or well-being. I mean, if he's healthy, he can really be a great player. But the issues, the problem that he can be from a standpoint of just, and who knows if it's intentional? Who knows if it's malicious? He just,
he's high intensity, high energy. You said it right.
He got upset with the Jets because they weren't very good. But I also know from folks who were with the Jets at the time, they tried everything they could and they just got exasperated. There was just nothing they could do to get him on board with what they were trying to do. And I think he exasperated Pete Carroll eventually.
Yeah.
And it didn't last very long with the Tennessee Titans, and it might have been he showed up and he realized this team isn't very good, and he wasn't afraid to say so.
Yeah.
But
right.
who knows? That's just a wild guess.
I hear you.
Think about the Lions.
Right.
The thing about the Lions running game,
Yeah.
like they're the only team that's got two guys who, if you would separate them, could be
Still
RB1,
number ones. Yeah, I
Pro
hear
Bowl
ya.
or elsewhere.
Right.
And they don't fall victim to skewing one way or the other. It feels like both guys get their full complement on a regular basis.
Yeah.
I remember when it was Warwick Dunn and Mike Allstott in Tampa, it never felt like both guys got a full bite
Right.
at the apple unless one of them was injured. But they do a nice job of making sure David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs both get their chances in that Detroit offense.
Yeah, definitely. They do. I mean, they let them go extended periods of time to where they can get in a groove running the ball. I think that's the thing that you're talking about in Tampa, where it was like, hey, Warwick's in a few plays now. It's all stop, and nobody seems to really get in the flow or a rhythm of the football game and kind of impose their will. And, oh, okay, that's what the contact feels like today. And you get used to the movement of the defenders to, break them down and make them miss you and all that. And then, of course, their ability to stay on the field and score points and do all that allows them to just really open the vault with the plays that they have. But you're right about that, Mike. And I will say, Montgomery is a hell of a player. I do sit there in some games and go, damn, they should give the ball to Jahmyr Gibbs more. But they're trying to save him. I get that. But Jahmyr Gibbs he's one of the most explosive players in the NFL right now. In the open field as a running back, and there's like space and only limited defenders. I mean, Jahmyr Gibbs has hit the tier or the classification of like special guys like a Saquon Barkley, where you go, oh, he's out there in space. See you later. I don't care who's there to tackle him one-on-one. They ain't gonna tackle him. He has gotten to that stratosphere as far as a player. And then, of course, they got other guys off that, and their play-action pass game off that is, of course, extremely effective. That's where I'm excited for the game tonight. These two teams, neither one of them is looking to dink and dunk, or we just want 2 yards up the middle or 3-yard throw here. Both of them go, when we run the ball, we're expecting to get a 50-yard gain. We're trying to gash you. And then when we pass the ball, we're going to fake the run, and we're going to try to get a 50-yard gain. We are going to try to gash you. We are not looking for the 4-yard underneath check down Aaron Rodgers New York Jets offense. And that's what's going to be fun about tonight, too. You're going to see the ball travel through the air to some playmakers down the field that could do some stuff with the ball as well.
This is an amazing stat as it relates to the David Montgomery, Jahmyr
What's
Gibbs
that?
Sharing of duties. Last week,
Yeah.
Montgomery had 21 carries for 88 yards. Gibbs had 9 carries for 87.
That's what I mean. See, that there's a few carries every game with Montgomery where I go, oh, like if that was Jahmyr Gibbs, that's another 40-yard gain. But again, the Sonic and Knuckles, they work well together. There's a physical element, then the speed element. There is an adjustment for that as far as defense and getting ready to tackle that guy and all that. But man, yeah, to your point, man, I mean, Jahmyr Gibbs is a really special player.
Doesn't it seem like if it was just the Jahmyr Gibbs show, he really would be? If he stays healthy.
Yes.
He'd be up there in that conversation with best running back in the NFL.
100%. I mean, I just had their stats up because he's got 900 yards, 973, and 3 less carries. Montgomery's got 720, right? So, I mean, what is that? That's 1740 rushing there. You got to think, yes, if Jahmyr Gibbs got a bulk of Montgomery's carries, that he would be up there in the conversation for best running back in football, offensive player, maybe even MVP. He's that. And that's the struggle for the running back. It is, do I want to blow it out and be the man and just absolutely be an all-star, all-pro for a few years, or do I want to share it with somebody else to extend my career and make some more money? And that's the balance the player and the team has to figure out what they want to do. And obviously Detroit's taking the latter in that situation.
But the reality is at some point in his career, he will be the guy.
Yeah, right.
And it could be awesome. And, he's not going to make it. Before the season, Amon-Ra St. Brown said that he'll buy anything Jahmyr Gibbs wants if he has 1,000 yards rushing and 1,000 yards receiving.
Right.
He's got 973.
Yeah, he's
so
getting that.
That's a no-brainer.
Right.
But he's only got 245 receiving yards. So Maybe 282 actually.
Yeah.
So maybe Amon-Ra, when he saw that Gibbs was off to a good start, maybe he went to Goff and said, "Don't throw him the ball." That's
Save me some money.
Because Gibbs said, "I'm going to break his bank. I might get a house."
Right.
And only 3 guys have ever done that: Roger Craig, Marshall Faulk, and Christian McCaffrey. 1,000 yards rushing and 1,000 yards receiving is very rare. But you feel like in the right offense, Gibbs could do it.
Yeah, he's that kind of guy. He certainly is. He's a weapon in the pass game. In the run game, yeah, I'd put him up there with, I think, only Saquon Barkley is as far as like explosive runners in football. I think they're in a class of their own as far as guys that can score from anywhere at any time. That's what they are. They're anywhere, anytime guys.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.